I visited the old Talbott Tavern on the 14th of August 2012 because of my fondness for the lifestyle of the Old West gunslinger. In particular interest to me was Jesse and Frank James, the old James gang. The tavern was built in 1779, a year before the town of Salem, now Bardstown, Kentucky, was established. Originally called the Heinz Hotel, it is still referred to as the oldest stagecoach stop in the West. While in that city, I heard that the gang had spent a considerable amount of time at that tavern. Some might call it a hideout, but the James boys were literally just hanging out. They had a lot of friends in town, including Sheriff Donnie Pence, who rode with the boys in Quantrill's Raiders during the Civil War, along with Pence's brother Bud. Who wasn't a friend with them knew better than to talk to anyone about them, because you didn't know when the word would get back to the gang, and that wouldn't have been good. The James gang kept a room on the second floor. The room is relevantly named the Jesse James Room. There are a dozen bullet holes in the wall. Legend indicated they were the product of Jesse shooting at birds on a mural one night after having a few drinks in the bar downstairs. But the room had suffered significant fire damage, and while I was there, it was closed to the public, so I wasn't able to go in it. But the sweet ladies working down at the desk told me I should go up and look around anyway at the relics and the cabinets and the pictures, and they added, you might even run into a ghost. I paused and slowly turned my head in their direction in a classic Western gunslinger type move and said, "Ghosts? You don't say." I needed no further encouragement. I didn't need any in the first place. I was upstairs in a split. There were a lot of interesting items up there, encased in vintage wood and glass, set up against the brick walls. I saw Jessie's namesake room, but I was more curious in the room that she indicated was the most haunted, the Concord Room. It was a slightly large meeting room, not too big. It had a fireplace in it and a set of large vintage doors. I took out my camera and I began to document my little ghost investigation. And at one point, I even tried to encourage the spirits to join me for a photo. I spent about 30 minutes just in that room without any real success. But later on, I did find an orb in one of the pictures. I hit the lights off and headed down the hall where there were several other rooms, telling myself that someday I would come and spend the night. I poked my nose in a storage room at the end of the hall. Then I found a stairwell going downstairs to the kitchen and more vintage furniture. I turned around, I went back upstairs, past the Concord Room one more time, and then headed back down the front stairs. And that was the end of my paranormal investigation. It lasted probably an hour and a half. When I left, I saw another interesting location. It was called the Jailer's Inn, also rumored to be haunted, I guess. The day manager said, "Come on in, look around." But really, I had had enough for the day and it was getting late. I told him I'd come back another day. I never did. But I did visit several other reputably haunted locations on this trip to Kentucky, to include the town of West Point, the Hardin County History Museum in Elizabethtown, the Waverly Hills Sanitarium in Louisville, and the Gates of Hell Cemetery. It was a great trip, but the old Talbott Tavern stole my heart on this trip and will forever be known as my first search for spirits. Thanks for watching this, search for Spirits Production. I intend to do more with some of the older locations I visited. I hope you like it. If you do, hit the like button, subscribe, and until next time.